Thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Hare Rama. Rama Rama. Hare Hare. I'd like to welcome you to a very special occasion this morning, the Sri Vyasa Puja ceremony of His Holiness Indradyumna Swami Maharaj. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you to the temple management of the Sri Sri Radha Radhana Temple for graciously allowing this festival to take place in this beautiful temple room. It is especially symbolic because Srila Gurudev, as we fondly refer to His Holiness Indradyumna Swami, was the temple president of the Radha Radhana Temple many, many years ago and spent many years living here at the temple. So as we go along this Vyasa Puja ceremony, we will hear more glories of Gurudev's pastimes and also how he has impacted on so many lives as well. So thank you for being here with us this morning so that we could try to make an attempt to offer some glory, some appreciation on this occasion of Sri Vyasa Puja. So to begin the proceedings, to begin the ceremony this morning, we will read an offering that Srila Gurudev has written to his spiritual master, the founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. And for that, I would request His Grace Braj Madhava Prabhu to read that offering. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So this is Srila Gurudev's offering on Srila Prabhupada's Vyasa Puja in 2025, last year. My dear spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, please accept my most humble obeisances in the dust of your lotus feet. Once again, on the sacred day of your Vyasa Puja, I come before you not only to offer words of praise, but to pause, reflect, and rededicate my heart to your sacred mission. Each year, this day reminds me that my life's purpose is bound entirely to you. You are the reason I stand where I stand now, speak what I speak, and live as I live. I often picture you alone on the Jaladuta, frail in body, but carried by a will greater than the ocean itself. On that ship, you crossed not only waters, but worlds, bringing the treasure of bhakti into the place that neither expected it nor asked of it, yet was starved for it. You came with nothing but your books, your beads, and the instruction of your Guru Maharaj burning in your heart, and you changed the course of history. It was you, Srila Prabhupada, who found me in the darkness of material life. You called my name, lifted me from ignorance, and placed me on the path of devotional service. Whatever little service I have rendered since that day is simply my attempt to show you my gratitude. For 54 years, I have tried in my own small way to carry your message out into the world. From major cities to remote villages, deserts to jungles, mountains to seashores, I have tried to speak your words, share your books, and glorify your mission. Wherever I go, I feel you beside me. I speak, but it is your voice. I move, but it is you who carries me. You once said, when asked about miracles, my miracle is that I have made these Western boys and girls devotees of Krishna. That miracle continues to this very day. I witness it with awe, the spark of devotion igniting in unexpected places, the eyes of strangers lighting up when they hear your message, and hearts once burdened by material life suddenly lifted by your words. This year I saw your magic unfold in a myriad of ways. At the Sadhu Sangha retreat in North America, thousands of devotees danced and chanted with one heart, one voice, along with many newcomers encountering your mercy for the first time. At our Kirtan festival in Rishikesh, at the foot of the Himalayas, the holy name echoed off the mountain slopes and danced upon the waters of Mother Ganga. Wandering sadhus, yogis, seekers, and curious travelers paused to listen. They had all come to Rishikesh searching for something divine, and they found it in the holy names, in devotee association and the love you left behind. Similarly, in Poland, for the 35th year in a row, we sang, we danced, we performed, and we warmly welcomed guests into the uplifting world of Krishna consciousness through our lively festivals. The people often thanked us with heartfelt words, but in reality, Srila Prabhupada, it is you to whom their great gratitude truly belongs. Srila Prabhupada, the years are passing quickly now. The body I once relied on for endless travel and service no longer responds with its former strength. But growing older has deepened my sense of urgency. Every remaining moment is a treasure not to be wasted. Whatever strength is left in me must be spent entirely for you. I do not fear impending death, Srila Prabhupada. What I fear is that I have not done enough. What I could have done, that I could have loved you more deeply, spoken more boldly, served more selflessly. I carried these thoughts with me, and they make me strive harder to be the servant you deserve. When my time comes to leave this world, I wish to do so with your name on my lips, your form in my heart, and your eternal service as my only aspiration. You alone are everything to me. My beloved spiritual master, can you see me? Can you hear me? From the core of my heart, I call out to you. Please cast your merciful glance upon this unworthy servant. I am waiting here with great expectation for whatever service you will entrust in me next. Be it in heaven or in hell, it matters not. Wherever your order sends me, that place will become my Vaikuntha, just as it has been in this lifetime. My only desire is to be part of your eternal entourage forever. Your words during a darshan in Mayapur in February 16, 1977, gives me hope. All of you, you were simply born because the mission was to be started. Just like the Yaduvamsa, Krishna ordered all the devotee demigods to go and take birth there to help me. Similarly, you also, you were born in Europe, America, to help me. Your ever grateful servant, Indradyumna Swami. Srila Prabhupada ki, Srila Gurudev ki. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Braj Madhav Prabhu. And a special warm welcome to His Holiness Bhakti Chaitanya Swami Maharaj. Haribol. Thank you so much, Maharaj, for being with us this morning. And we'd like to now invite you. I can arrange for the mic to come to you, perhaps, if you prefer. And or you, whatever's comfortable for you, Maharaj, to speak some words this morning and also offer some description on the meaning of Sri Vyasa Puja. Thank you so much.
Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharane Nirvashesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarane Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimati Indradyumna Swami Iti Namane. Well, I'm very happy to be here. I consider myself very fortunate. And that offering of Maharajas, which was just read, that was amazing. That was just one of the most, if not the most amazing offerings that I've heard, actually, on a Vyasa puja. Really, really something extremely profound and just perfect. But, if you want me to say a few words specifically about the meaning of Vyasa puja, the basic idea in simple terms is that the message of Krishna consciousness, has been given to us right at the time of Lord Krishna by Srila Vyasadeva, who's the literary incarnation of Lord Krishna. So he is the person who first encapsulated the idea of what is Krishna consciousness, and really encapsulated it in such a way that it was as accessible as it could be in this Kali Yuga. So Srila Vyasadeva did that. There's a description given by Srila Baladeva Vijayabhushan and others also of how Lord Krishna was speaking at the beginning of the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, that this knowledge, having first of all spoken imam vivasvate yogam proktavan aham avyayam, that he spoke that knowledge to Vivasvan, and then Vivasvan handed it on, and then on. And in that way, it was distributed through a line of saintly kings. But then the science, Krishna says, the science as it is appears to be lost. And so therefore he's giving it to Arjuna there on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. But these great devotees explain what happened when the science was lost. What happened was that in the universe, in the whole universe, there was a great famine, and nobody really knew what to do. The only place that was not affected was the ashram of Gautama Muni, which must have been very, very big, because all the Brahmins and all the sadhus, they all went there during this famine. It was the only place they could get sustenance. So they were living there for some time, and Gautama Rishi had to deal with them. But then the famine finished somehow. It finished. So time for everyone to go home. But no one wanted to go home. They were all feeling so happy and satisfied there in the ashram of Gautama Rishi, that it was difficult for him to look after everyone. So he was thinking, how can I sort of encourage them, inspire them to go home and just leave me in my ashram so I can live as normal. So what he did, he created the form of a calf out of straw, and he placed it on the path, or just next to the path, where all those sages, that all those sages would use when they'd go to take bath early in the morning when it's dark, so that some of them would hit it and kick it and like that. So that happened. And then Gautama, when that happened, Gautama said, oh, look. Well, not look, but he just said, some of you hit something, isn't it, as you went to the river? That was a young calf, and the calf is dead. So you have to go. You can't stay. You must all go. Because this is, somehow you've all become implicated in this sinful activity. So then they all started leaving. But some of them went to see, where is this calf? We killed a calf. How could that be? And they found this straw calf by the side of the path. And they understood he's trying to get rid of us. So those sages cursed that may all knowledge turn to ignorance. May all knowledge turn to ignorance. So this is the explanation how it is, Krishna says, that in course of time the succession was broken. It was broken and the Vedic knowledge became lost. But then later on, of course, when Lord Krishna was here 5,000 years ago, he spoke Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. That itself is very significant. Arjuna was not a Brahmin. He was a Kshatriya. He was a warrior. And he was not a highly educated, spiritually educated person, although he was a very sincere devotee, but not like some of those big Brahmins, or like any of them really. But Krishna chose to give the knowledge to him. Krishna says, Bhaktosi me sakha cheti, because you're my devotee and my friend. So Krishna restarted the parampara like that to Arjuna, but then everything was recorded by Srila Vyasadeva. Everything was recorded, and particularly the Srimad Bhagavatam was not just recorded, but if you're familiar with the Bhagavatam, you would know that early on in the first canto, Vyasadeva, thinking he's given all Vedic knowledge, finds that he's feeling kind of like a bit empty. He was expecting to feel complete, that this is just, I've achieved perfection, but something was missing. And so Narada Muni came and instructed him, you must do a particular type of meditation, and in that way realize the Srimad Bhagavatam, and then write down Srimad Bhagavatam. So Vyasadeva did that, and already so many of the other literatures were there, compiled by him. But then finally the sort of the cream of the cream, the Srimad Bhagavatam, came directly from him. So Srila Vyasadeva had that mission. He's a particular type of incarnation of Lord Krishna. He's Shaktyavesh. He's empowered with the Shakti of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, particularly in terms of expressing oneself with words, literary incarnation. So yes, everything before he really took charge of all the knowledge and ultimately presented Srimad Bhagavatam, everything was in a sort of messed up state as far as the Vedic literatures were concerned. It was a very difficult time. So Vyasadeva, he did that amazing service of reordering, collecting up from here and there different bits and pieces of the Vedic knowledge, putting it all together, and ultimately presenting the conclusion in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam. So therefore we owe a lot. We owe in a sense, you could say everything to Srila Vyasadeva in that sense, because of his amazing contribution. And Srila Jiva Goswami in Tattva Sandarbha, if I'd known I was going to be asked to do this, I would have looked some of these things up actually. But anyway, Jiva Goswami makes the point that there's so many sages and saintly people, and they know things, like we said, bits and pieces of the Vedic knowledge. But Srila Vyasadeva was the person who came and put it all together. So therefore his position and his service, his contribution has been unique in our line. And of course, he compiled all the Vedic knowledge, even the Karma Kandya section, the Jnana Kandya section, and just everything. But particularly, of course, Srimad Bhagavatam was his greatest contribution. And then there are other literatures which are also part of the Krishna conscious section of the Vedic literatures. So we, of course, we focus on these. We're not interested in the Karma Kandya section, etc. But we're very interested, even exclusively interested, in the Krishna conscious section, culminating in Srimad Bhagavatam. So what a contribution he made. And nowadays, all devotees, when the occasion arises, must make themselves competent enough to be able to present these things, at least in some reasonable and meaningful way. But particularly those who have the service of being spiritual masters, they have to really know these things that Vyasadeva gave, particularly the Krishna conscious sections of the Vedic literatures. And Srila Indradyumna Maharaj is such an amazing example in that regard. You know, some devotees, just the other day, couple of weeks ago, we celebrated, I guess it was the Vyasa puja of Kadamba Kanana Maharaj, right here. And I remember noting that he had told me that he makes a point of not preparing for classes because he wants to see what is Krishna going to sort of supply him with, but which is fine. It's not my policy generally, unless it's like a situation like here right now. But otherwise, Srila Indradyumna Maharaj, you should see how he prepares for classes. He really, really prepares and goes through so many notes and takes out points, relevant points from here and there, and puts them together systematically, and then presents the class. And I felt I could see that in his Vyasa Puja offering. I hadn't read it or heard it before, actually. And it was so deeply, you could say deeply put together and so deeply felt, so extremely deeply felt, actually, and just so totally appropriate for Srila Prabhupada. And we got, I think, a very deep appreciation of Srila Indradyumna Maharaj's very deep appreciation for Srila Prabhupada as his spiritual master. I felt it was just about one of the best offerings I've ever heard. if not the best. So Maharaj is like that. You know, we all know he is a very, very empowered and I would say unstoppable preacher, preaching to the public. Just very recently, there was a Sadhu Sangha festival in America. Shri Shri Radha Radhanath Shri Giri Govardhan Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Ki Jai. I'm not sure exactly when it was, but it was very recently. Last few weeks, I think, something like that. And that was put together by him. America, in terms of Krishna consciousness, up till a few years ago, after Srila Prabhupada left this world and then numerous problems came on the scene here and there, and in America also, the Krishna consciousness movement in America was a little, anyway, it wasn't what it was when Prabhupada was present or just immediately after Srila Prabhupada left. But now Maharaj took that festival, which of course, and he mentioned there, in Poland. In Poland, he's been doing that festival for decades. And it's had massive impact in Eastern Europe. So this festival, the Sadhu Sangha festival that he put on just very recently in America, it's been going for just a few years, not a long time, but what an impact it has made. And this is typical of Indradyumna Maharaj. This is very typical. He knows how to get things together, organize things, and then present things in such ways that it makes huge impacts on whoever the audience is. The Sadhu Sangha festival was a devotee festival. The festival in Poland is mainly for non-devotees. But what an impact. This is Indradyumna Maharaj presenting on behalf of Srila Prabhupada, and just presenting so nicely on behalf of Srila Prabhupada. It's just, it's the best. It's just the best. He is the best at doing that sort of thing. So in terms of our festival right here and now, today, to have a festival of Vyasa puja for Indradyumna Maharaj is just, it's perfect. If any one of Prabhupada's disciples deserves a Vyasa puja in that sense of respecting the current spiritual master as a representative of Srila Vyasadeva, without a doubt, Srila Indradyumna Maharaj is just the perfect person to be appreciated in those terms. So many of you, I know quite a few of you who are disciples of Maharaj, and everybody else is here as followers, people who appreciate like that. So you must know you are connected either by initiation or just as a person who has an appreciation and attachment, transcendental attachment to Maharaj. You are connected to the right person. You really are connected to the right person as the representative of Srila Prabhupada and as the representative of Srila Vyasadeva. So after today, please take it all home. I mean, there'll be so many things will be said and different things will happen. Please take it all home with you And then you also really, I mean, some of you are already geared up in that respect, but as much as possible, gear yourself up for being a representative of Indradyumna Maharaj. And that will be the right thing. That will be the best thing for you. And by following him and taking his example into your heart and trying to follow in his footsteps as much as you can, you'll make your life successful. Hare Krishna. Srila Indradyumna Swami Maharaj came.
His Holiness Bhakti Chaitanya Swami Maharaj Ki Jai. His Holiness Indradyumna Swami Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada Ki. Thank you so much, Maharaj, for your kind words, especially on discussing the meaning of Sri Vyasa Puja this morning. And actually, when Maharaj was speaking about the Sadhu Sangha retreat, I quickly looked it up, Maharaj, for you. So it started in 2012 with 400, just 400. It was an intimate kirtan mela in North America, and then COVID came. So there was a break in between, and then now it's at 4,000 people, as you mentioned, Maharaj, and that happened last weekend. So very interesting, and that's exactly the mood of Srila Gurudev, because as Maharaj said, and I was listening to that wherever Gurudev goes, he looks at the audience and what the needs are, and he offers such festivals. So the Sadhu Sangha retreat in North America last weekend, what a massive festival. And when Gurudev comes here, he puts on this, when he used to, this beautiful Rath Yatra festival that had then coined the term, culturally many, spiritually one. So thank you, Maharaj, for remembering and honoring Srila Gurudev in that way. Hare Krishna. Now, His Grace Prabhanu Prabhu, if you are here. Prabhanu Prabhu is the temple president of the New Jagannath Puri temple in Phoenix, but more especially a very good close friend of His Holiness Indradyumna Swami, having had close association with Gurudev for many years. Not only Prabhanu Prabhu, but his children as well, and the entire family. And we're so grateful this morning to be able to hear from Prabhanu Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Om Jnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guve Namaha. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindhuve evacha Patitanam Bhavinibhyo Vaishnavabhyo Namo Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Indradyumna Swami Iti Namine. Hare Krishna. So I was a little bit conflicted today as to whether to speak about Maharaj's glorification or about the impact Maharaj has on my life, actually, as a devotee. So I think the glorification won after listening to Bhakti Chaitanya Swami Maharaj. So this is the offering that I've put together, and hopefully it will be appreciated by Maharaj. Dear Indradyumna Swami, please accept my humble obeisances at your lotus feet. All glories to your holiness on this most auspicious day of your Vyasa Puja. On this most auspicious occasion of your Vyasa Puja, I humbly offer my heartfelt gratitude and appreciation for your extraordinary and tireless service in spreading the mission of Srila Prabhupada across the entire world. Maharaj, you are a shining example of what it means to truly embody the instructions of Srila Prabhupada, to preach boldly and to have faith in the holy name. Your life as a traveling sannyasi, constantly moving from place to place, has become a living testimony of dedication, sacrifice, and unwavering faith. Having circled the globe many times in your efforts to bring Krishna consciousness to every corner of the world, You have inspired countless souls to take shelter of devotional service. Your ability to bring Krishna consciousness into diverse and often unexpected environments is deeply inspiring. Whether hosting large-scale festivals along the Baltic coast, where thousands gather to experience kirtan, prasadam, and spiritual culture, or participating in massive gatherings such as the public cultural festivals, you demonstrate a unique and fearless approach to outreach. Your vision for engaging people through joyful kirtan and meaningful cultural experiences reflects the very heart of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement. Maharaj, your leadership in organizing large kirtan-based festivals and retreats has created powerful platforms where devotees and newcomers alike can experience the transformative power of the holy name. Whether through international kirtan festivals, retreats, or extended devotional gatherings, you have shown how Sankirtan can unite people from all backgrounds. Your annual pilgrimages to the holy dhams, especially during the sacred month of Kartik, are another profound aspect of your service. By guiding devotees through the holy places of Vrindavan and beyond, you help deepen their appreciation for Krishna's pastimes and strengthen their spiritual practices. Another rare and special contribution is your diary of a traveling monk, through which you have allowed the world to witness the intimate and often miraculous aspects of preaching life. These accounts are not merely stories, but living teachings, demonstrating dependence on Krishna, faith in the holy name, and the transformative power of devotional service. Maharaj, your interaction with people from all walks of life, including world leaders and influential figures, show your ability to carry the message of Krishna consciousness beyond traditional boundaries. At the same time, your deep humility and personal warmth make every individual feel seen and spiritually uplifted. Personally, I feel deeply grateful for your example, your fearless preaching, your dedication to kirtan, and your unwavering commitment to Srila Prabhupada's mission inspires me to examine my own level of service and sincerity. Your life reminds us that devotional service is not meant to be comfortable, but transformational, requiring faith, determination, and full dependence on Guru and Krishna. On this sacred day, I pray for your continued health, strength, and inspiration, so that you may go on illuminating the path of devotional service for generations to come. Please kindly bless me that I may develop even a fraction of your enthusiasm, humility, and dedication in serving the mission of Srila Prabhupada. I remain your insignificant servant, aspiring to always follow in your footsteps, your servant Prabhupada Das. His Holiness Indradyumna Swami Maharaj ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.
Thank you so much, Prabhanu Prabhu. I'd now like to invite a close friend of Srila Gurudev, associate, well-wisher, and someone who has really served Srila Gurudev in various capacities here in Durban as well as globally. And that's none other than His Grace Swarup Damodar Prabhu. And I saw Prabhu walking in just now. And that association just goes at so many levels, and we're deeply grateful for Swarup Damodar Prabhu's instruction in how we can best serve Srila Gurudev, how we can facilitate his travels, and just taking care of Srila Gurudev in so many wonderful ways. They have a very special relationship, and we're grateful that Swarup Damodar Prabhu is here with us this year for Sri Vyasa Puja. So we will hear from Swarup Damodar Prabhu now. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Vanchakalpaturubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Once His Holiness Indradyumna Swami Maharaj asked me, jokingly, well, instructively, but jokingly, I guess, Swarup, do you know why we are such good friends? And then he answered, it's because Giriraj Swami Maharaj is my closest friend, And it's because you are married to Sukumari, my favorite devotee in South Africa. So I guess that's my claim to fame in terms of being associated with someone so exalted and glorious and dedicated as His Holiness Srila Indradyumna Swami Maharaj. I mean, humor aside, just this point that he mentioned to me is also very instructive to all of us, that the foundation of success in each of our spiritual lives lay in this important guideline of Krishna consciousness, and that is, one must do whatever it takes to attract the affection, the attention and mercy of the spiritual master and his followers and the devotees in general. So maybe that's, today is a very powerful reminder for all of us, disciples and followers and associates of His Holiness Indradyumna Swami, to do whatever it takes, even if it means marrying someone close to him. But to do whatever it takes to attract the mercy of Maharaj. And that includes being very kind and generous and compassionate to each other. You cannot separate one from the other. Sometimes we find that we are very focused on attracting the attention of the spiritual master, so focused that we forget everyone on the side. And that's very dangerous. If there's one thing to put the spiritual master off, so to speak, from looking in our direction, is to not have compassion, friendship and affection and care for his followers. Anyway, that was just in response to what Krishangi Radhe said about me being a friend and associate of Indradyumna Maharaj. I very, very much appreciated, like His Holiness in Bhakti Chaitanya Maharaj nicely pointed out in his really wonderful talk just now. I really appreciated hearing again the wonderful Vyasa puja offering of Indradyumna Maharaj to Srila Prabhupada. That was from last year's Vyasa puja offering. And it echoes so many of his previous offerings. There's a very powerful thread of consistency running throughout all his offerings of how he lives his life as an offering to Srila Prabhupada, based on just one instruction and guidance that he received from Srila Prabhupada, just one that he received. Now, most of the disciples here probably would have received more association, physical input, time-wise in their lives, much more than Indradyumna Maharaj received from Srila Prabhupada in person. I recall in the case of His Holiness Devamrita Maharaj, he was telling us once that he only had one personal interaction with Srila Prabhupada in the BBT offices in, I think it was in Los Angeles, yeah. And Prabhupada entered his office. He was introduced by, I guess, Radha Vallabha Prabhu, who was the BBT manager, or maybe it was Rameshwar Maharaj, and said, "Oh, this is Devamrita, the person who does something in your BBT." And Prabhupada looked at Maharaj, then Devamrita Brahmachari, up and down and said, That was the only verbal, physical interaction he had with Prabhupada. And now you see what Devamrita Maharaj has done in his life in service to Prabhupada. So similarly, Indradyumna Maharaj didn't get too many opportunities. But this one instruction, preach boldly and have faith in the holy names, we see has carried his life from that time he received that instruction from Srila Prabhupada, has carried his life in so many amazing ways throughout every continent, preaching boldly and having faith in the holy names. We know that Indradyumna Maharaj is quite famous throughout the ISKCON world for worshipping deities. You know, every time he comes to South Africa, devotees are wondering, what deity is he going to bring next? Is it Shalagram? Which form of Shalagram? Govardhan, Radha Krishna, Nrsingadev? So many forms of deities he's famous for worshipping and dedicating so much of effort and facility towards. And sometimes I would wonder which of all these forms of deities is Maharaj's favorite? Which one is he most attached to? And then over the years that I've observed His Holiness Indradyumna Maharaj, I figured out that his two most important deities in his life is the instructions of Srila Prabhupada and the holy names of Krishna. That all the deity worship that he does, and it takes maybe like an hour and a half or two every day, and he's done that consistently for decades, all that effort of deity worship is like a preliminary process for worshipping his main deities, which is to preach boldly and to have faith in the holy names. And that is what we see even in Srila Prabhupada's character and life. Faith in the order of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and having complete faith in the chanting of the holy names. Actually, once one of Srila Prabhupada's godbrothers, Akinchana Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj, in discussion with another very famous godbrother of theirs, disciple of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, who was tasked with the great mission of preaching Lord Chaitanya's mission in the West, but came back unsuccessful. And Akinchana Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj was pointing out to this godbrother that you went to the West and preached, you went to the West and chanted the holy names, and Swami Maharaj, meaning our Srila Prabhupada, went and did the same thing. But Swami Maharaj was completely successful, whereas you were a failure. What was the difference? And Akinchana Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj answered his own question. He said, because Swami Maharaj, our Srila Prabhupada, had complete faith in the instructions of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and in the holy names of Krishna. So that those two deities, those two aspects of our spiritual life, Srila Prabhupada very powerfully encapsulated in his own life and mission, and he gave it to all his disciples. Faith in him and faith in the holy names. And foremost amongst so many disciples who've taken those two things, to preach boldly, have faith in Srila Prabhupada's instructions, and have complete faith in the holy names, is His Holiness Indradyumna Maharaj. And one could recount so many things that he has done all over the world. Bhakti Chaitanya Maharaj was listing some of them, just a few of the many things that he has done. And even here in South Africa, I'm not sure, I came a little late, so I'm not sure if Maharaj may have mentioned how Indradyumna Maharaj became the temple president here in Did you mention that, Maharaj? Yeah, so Bhakti Chaitanya Maharaj was the then temple president. And if you know anything about being a temple president, it's not something you aspire, it's not a life goal of yours. It may be before you get to know about it, before you get to actually live it and experience it. It's a real tough service. And, Bhakti Chaitanya Maharaj being a Brahman, a sadhu, his focus clearly is hearing and studying, chanting and sharing. And he was the temple president. I'm not sure the reason why that happened. But then one day, while he was walking around the moat, I think it was even around the moat, Indradyumna Maharaj approached him and suggested to him, I could become the temple president. And Bhakti Chaitanya Maharaj, without a moment's thought, okay, let's do it. That must have been maybe 1988 or so. And that's when, from that platform of being a temple president, now this is also, look at the vision of Indradyumna Maharaj. Being a temple president as consuming a service as it was or is, he saw it as a platform to launch something amazing, something that will never be forgotten. And using that service, that position as being a temple president, he focused on preaching. And what was born out of that whole temple presidency service for that brief period, maybe it was a year or so, came the Durban Festival of Chariots, the Rath Yatra, on the beachfront, which today we are so much enjoying in so much bigger ways than it was then in 1988. But that was his vision. Whatever service, whatever facility he has, whatever position he has, is always looking at how I can use this to serve Srila Prabhupada and spread the mission. This is very, very powerful thinking. And Srila Prabhupada had that same mood. If we preach very nicely, preach effectively, Prabhupada's mood was, if you preach like that, then management will follow like a shadow. Prabhupada wrote that. If you focus on preaching, then the management will follow like a shadow. Another aspect of Indradyumna Maharaj, which I think so many of you here have been attracted by, have been touched by, is his very clear affection, very deep and genuine affection for children. So affectionate even to a fault sometimes. I would see him get dakshin, donations from disciples, and then he'll meet a little child somewhere, and then the next day he'll say, Swarup, let's go and buy something for this child. And he'll buy these big soft toys or big presents just to make a child's day. And I had some doubt about it. What is a sannyasi being so, concerned with buying toys for children? How many of you had soft toys being bought by Indradyumna Maharaj? Big child also there. What's a sannyasi got to do with it? This is not a business of a sannyasi. So I ventured one day and I asked him, Maharaj, we have better things to do with money, Buying soft, sorry children. But we have better things to do. Then he says, no, this is my reasoning. Is that these children are special. They are sent by Krishna. And in this age that we live in, almost all of them are going to experience some difficulty in their lives. In many cases, some of them will just leave Krishna consciousness altogether. He says, but what's going to bring them back is a reminder of some love and affection that they experienced in this movement. So if I can offer that to them in the hope that whatever difficulties they'll experience in their lives, that if that makes them come back to Krishna, back to the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada, then that is money well spent. So, anyway, please don't ever leave Krishna consciousness, so that you have to remember to come back. But this is the heart of Indradyumna Maharaj, a great heart. Also, just as a parting message, I'll conclude with this to the disciples and followers of Indradyumna Maharaj. As has been noted, he's a person who can't think small. As Srila Prabhupada also said, my main disease is that I can't think small, I think very big. And similarly, Indradyumna Maharaj is always scanning the room, always scanning the terrain to see what are the most amazing possibilities to share Lord Chaitanya's mercy, to share Srila Prabhupada's teachings throughout the world, to share the culture of Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, there's no hope. There's absolutely no hope for this, for this world. And we're seeing it every day. Every day. So many disasters are happening, so many corruptions are being exposed. And 10, 12 years ago, when Indradyumna Maharaj sort of was coming back and he was contemplating how to spread Krishna consciousness, he caught onto some wonderful ideas of how to promote the teachings of Lord Chaitanya in unprecedented ways. And he privately told me once that, actually, sometimes I'm celebrated, I am honored for doing very big things in the world of preaching, Poland, India, America, South America, Australia, different things. But actually I feel that South Africa or the Southern African continent could be the place where I could actually make my greatest contribution to Lord Chaitanya. So Maharaj, of course, that didn't work out. He's been engaged in other places by Srila Prabhupada and Lord Chaitanya. But this is something as disciples and followers of Lord Chaitanya, of Srila Indradyumna Maharaj, we can hold on to and ask him, petition him today and every day, please invest us with your mercy, please invest us with your vision, so we can take your desire, your plans, to make a huge, impactful contribution in South Africa. So with that, we want to offer our humble obeisances to His Holiness Indradyumna Maharaj and deeply thank him and appreciate him for keeping me close to him. I guess one unspoken reason that he didn't mention, besides me being a disciple of Giriraj Swami and married to Sukumari, is that I'm such a lost case, that somebody has to take care of him. So better I do it. So Thank you for taking care of me, Maharaj. I treasure you in my life, and I don't know what my spiritual life would be without you. His Holiness Indradyumna Swami Maharaj ki. Srila Prabhupada ki. Jai.
Thank you so much, His Grace Swarup Damodar Prabhu. And when I did ask Sukumari Mataji if she's going to offer some appreciation this morning, she said no, she'll be busy in the kitchen, but she knows it will be taken care of. So somehow or the other, the telepathy was there. And so thank you for sharing your wisdom and experiences and deep realizations with us this morning. I'd now like to invite His Grace Smita Krishna Prabhu to offer some glorification and appreciation for Srila Gurudev. Smita Krishna Prabhu has had some really wonderful personal association over many years as well, through some personal service and moments that I'm sure Smita Krishna Prabhu will share with us. And we're also so grateful for all your service to Srila Gurudev when he is here in Durban. Smita Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Am I being arrested? Thank you. Hare Krishna. Sudarshan Dari Prabhu, thank you. Om Agyanati Mirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Vande Guru Nisha Bhaktan Isha Isha Avatarakan Tat Prakasham Tat Shakti Krishna Chaitanya Samyakam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale Srimate Indradyumna Swami Iti Namine. My humble obeisances to His Holiness Bhakti Chaitanya Swami Maharaj and the assembled devotees. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Braj Madhava Prabhu and Raghupati Prabhus, for your personal invitation to this program. I am fortunate to have entered ISKCON at a period when we had so many heroes to inspire us, and His Holiness Indradyumna Swami Maharaj stands out as one of those foremost heroes in ISKCON. At the time of coming to know about Maharaj and then reading about him and seeing his early adventures, I marveled to hear that he went to the Amazon jungle. I was excited at his Himalaya adventures, very joyful at the high standards of the Polish tours, and was also anxious about the skinheads in Russia. Maharaj is an empowered soul, and in Chaitanya Charitamrita 7:11, the verse is Kali Kalera Dharma Krishna Nam Sankirtan Krishna Shakti Vinanahi Tara Pravratan. The fundamental religious system in the age of Kali is the chanting of the holy name of Krishna. Unless empowered by Krishna, one cannot propagate the Sankirtan movement. So we see that only one who is empowered by Krishna can do the preaching like His Holiness Indradyumna Swami is doing. He always gives due credit to his Guru Maharaj. So perhaps with apologies and begging forgiveness from Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, I can edit the line, Prabhupada Shakti Vinanahi Tara Pravratan. By the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, being empowered by Prabhupada, this preaching can do. In this glorification, I also want to intertwine the encounter with devotees who serve Maharaj, because my good fortune depends on them and still depended on them and still continues to do so. In 1989 was my first encounter with Maharaj at Rath Yatra on Durban beachfront. I saw this tall, handsome and commanding presence of Maharaj, flowing saffron robes with a megaphone in his hand. He was walking tent to tent to inspect the organization and presentation of each one. The chariot parade then used to commence just above the current Ratha Yatra site, and the chariots would be on the top there, in front of the hotels. And there Maharaj could be seen moving back and forth to check on everything. And he was receiving the VIPs from the city, the mayors, the councillors, the other dignitaries. And with such great affection, they all really looked forward to meeting His Holiness Indradyumna Swami. In the course of that Ratha Yatra, I saw him crash out in exhaustion in the shade of one of the tents. So he found a spot and he just slept in the shade. And I recall my being impressed that a Swami led from the front, which shattered my idea of a renunciant simply sitting with closed eyes in meditation somewhere. It impressed me that service meant actively doing something for God, and that stayed with me. In the time of apartheid, Maharaj successfully created wonderful relationships with influential persons. His friendships, although beneficial to ISKCON, were not solely for that. He made genuine friendships based on his compassionate and loving nature. I used to teach at a high school back then, and I was newly appointed to a school called Isipingo High. As I was taken on tour by the principal, I walked past the matric block, and through the windows, I coincidentally glanced towards a student who, like others, was curious to see who the new teacher was. That was my first encounter with Champaklata Mataji, who was in matric then. I think that was a very Benedictine glance from her, because after that, I encountered the famous Srinathji's family and the earliest disciples of Maharaj in South Africa, who have encouraged my participation in Krishna consciousness from then and have become my well-wishers and friends. Maharaj, you know, and you can take the assurance that they have rendered tremendous service to ISKCON over the years, taking on Ratha Yatra as well. I've been fortunate to have been invited to countless programs at their home with you, and this pioneering family continues to be pillars of ISKCON in very prominent and important services. Raghupati Prabhu became my close friend from 1992, and I was very happy to see that he accepted shelter of Maharaj later on, and we had it at your home, right? So, when I was at Ispingo High, I arranged my first program with the help of Brihat Madanga Prabhu, who then invited Giriraj Swami. It was a program with the students, and I had a close relationship with all my students because I was in sport with them and so on. And it was a multicultural attendance. We had the Muslim kids, the Christian kids, and so on. And Giriraj Swami came to speak, and in the course of his speech, suddenly the class filled with a saffron glow as a whole lot of saffron personalities entered the room. His Holiness Bhakti Chaitanya Swami was one of them then, if you can remember. His Holiness Indradyumna Swami Maharaj was the other. Then we had His Grace Ramananda Prabhu came, and there was another servant who was serving Maharaj, was Sham Prabhu. All in saffron, and suddenly the room was filled aglow. And that was such a wonderful program, because at the end of it, there were so many questions that enlivened Giriraj Swami Maharaj and Indradyumna Swami. And then Giriraj Swami Maharaj was distributing simply wonderfuls. So he started to throw them at Indradyumna Maharaj, who was jumping. and catching them with his mouth opened. And just prior to that, Giriraj Swami Maharaj had answered a question about what's the meaning of Goswami. And so he had told the children that it means master of senses. So then he quipped, after Indradyumna Maharaj was catching, he said, just see how the Swami is controlling his senses. So that was really something that impressed me, because I saw spiritual life is also fun. It is not dry. It is enlivening. So all of these impressions stayed with me. And that incident with all the devotees, Maharaj, you included, in retrospect, that I feel that all the sages descended there to save me. And my gratitude is boundless for that. Initially, due to the mercy of Sri Hari Prabhu and Anuradha Mataji, I soon got involved in Rath Yatra, and I became typecast in the role of the MC, and therefore had a chance to hear Indradyumna Maharaj often. And at that time, I could say my interaction with Maharaj is a little distant, I was always in great awe and reverence for one of the world's most powerful preachers. But I learned several lessons from Indradyumna Maharaj about Rath Yatra. He would tell the devotees here at the temple in the morning, you get down to the site long before the official opening time, and you open your tents, because you never know which wandering soul is looking for Krishna. And if you're there early, you'll be able to preach to them. He also said in one of his lectures, when people come to the temple, welcome them lovingly, because you do not know after how many lifetimes, millions of lifetimes, they have come back home. And what you do with them will either keep them home or send them away for another few million lifetimes. So very, very powerful. Then he also had something to say to the mums, especially the new mums. If you can only take care of your baby and raise them in Krishna consciousness, then raising his arm into the air, he said, all glories to your service. Because he understood the complexity of that. So Maharaj has mentioned the seriousness of Indradyumna Maharaj's planning, his preciseness of execution, importance of having serious people in the team, and being the best ambassador to people who come. I saw that at the temple with Maharaj, and because of time I'd like to go a little faster. While most people will, when they encounter Indradyumna Swami, they know he's very gentle in his speech, which Swarup Damodar Prabhu mentioned with the kids especially and so on. While he is sweet, he is strict. If you are out of line, he'll tell you. I was the MC for one of his early disciples' weddings, and on the stage he asked me, are they ready to come up? And I said, I think so. He said, don't speculate, go and find out. So, Maharaj, he's the commander. He's a commander. He knows what he wants, and he gets it done. We've seen it in the projects. In the first Cape Town Rath Yatra, I was the MC there too, and we used this. We stood on the chariots. Swarup Damodar Prabhu was there. Indradyumna Maharaj was there. One of the city leaders was invited, and he was allowed to come up on the chariot from where he addressed this crowd. And after that leader spoke, I was inspired to reassure him that the Hare Krishna devotees in Cape Town are model citizens and will contribute positively to the city of Cape Town in terms of their civic duties and citizenship. And Swarup Damodar Prabhu was standing with Maharaj, and he later told me that Maharaj appreciated that statement from me, that we have to become model citizens. I owe Sunil Mohan Prabhu and Hemangi Mataji a tremendous debt, because it's at their home where my Guru Maharaj used to live, and then they look after so many of the devotees like Maharaj, Govinda Maharaj, and other Swamis who come to stay there. It was there I got closer to Maharaj. And whenever Maharaj comes there, I have an eagerness. I rush there to see what service can be done. Indradyumna Maharaj proudly claims Sunil Mohan to be his doctor. Sunil Mohan Prabhu renders invaluable service to the Vaishnavas, and we are very lucky to have a medical devotee community like him, Jagannatha Pandit Prabhu, Vrajahari Prabhu, Braj Madhava Prabhu, Umakanta Prabhu, so many other professionals. So Sunil Mohan is quite busy in the day with his work, and Maharaj waits eagerly to see him in the evening. And when Sunil Mohan comes, then he leaves whatever he has to do and spends and gives him special time. They have such a nice relationship. At that home, Manjula will always come with Maharaj. And she is such an example of Guru Nishtha and Guru Bhakti, sheer dedication. I encountered over time Ranga Devi Mataji in the temple. Very quiet and dedicated example of service, fixed on Guru's instructions to serve, and a very great service in Bhaktivedanta College. Some personal things then, because of all of these great devotees that I was surrounded with, I got a chance to be with Indradyumna Maharaj. And we see how fatherly he is towards devotees like Hemangi and others who come to serve. And in fact, he often quips that if Hemangi Maharaji doesn't cook for him, he's going to fast. He's not going to eat. So very sweet exchanges there. Maharaj told me once, asked me, can you come up to the room? I need a massage. So I was always in awe that this is such a great sannyasi with thousands of disciples, and an insignificant person like me in one small corner of South Africa had this great opportunity. So to touch those feet that have traversed all the holy dhams, that is so special. So it's cautious to massage his feet and not cause discomfort, because I don't know what it is that some people say, as skinny as I am, somehow my hands are strong. So Maharaj asked me, maybe not so skinny anymore. Maharaj then once told me, press harder. So then I turned it up, pressed harder. Then he said, okay, stop showing off now. So I had to get the balance right. And one day I could not go for a few days. And when I did, Maharaj was so charming. He said, where were you? We missed you. And then jokingly he said, you are neglecting me. So there are many, many aspects of Maharaj's contribution to our lives personally and the yatra. I'd like to finish off this by saying that Maharaj has made a tremendous service to the Vaishnavas in translating, preserving the scriptures, especially his interaction with the Vaishnava Research Center in Vrindavan, where he's making available the Gaudiya Vaishnava literatures through his series of lectures on Vrindavan and Mayapur. And the one that particularly attracts me is called Stimulation for Ecstatic Love, which is a chapter 26 in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. All the items that remind us about Krishna, the Udipan, Maharaj takes them and expands them into a series of lectures. With his team of researchers, he gets all the evidence. And I expressed to him once that he is doing such a great service. And I told him this evidence was locked away and we really need it, really appreciate it. So he downplayed his role in it and he humbly said, yes, it's important to have the evidence, otherwise people will not believe it. And when you hear Indradyumna Maharaj's stories, he's a fascinating storyteller. keeps you spellbound. So there's much more to say, but I know we have limited time. I heard Maharaj cite this verse. It's from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Antya 1-2. Durgame pati andasya skalat pada gati muhu swakripa yasti dhanina shanta shantu avalambanam. My path is very difficult. I am blind and my feet are slipping again and again. Therefore may the saints help me by granting me the stick of their mercy as my support. Maharaj very humbly asks the sages wherever he goes for their mercy. And today I want to use the same verse to ask Maharaj, you are the great saint that's being referred to in this verse. So please help me by granting me the stick of your mercy as my support. Srila Indradyumna Swami Maharaj ki, Srila Indradyumna Maharaj, Shri Vyasa Puja Maha Mahotsav ki, Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees.
Thank you, His Grace Mira Krishna Prabhu. And as Prabhu mentioned, some pastimes or association, it took us back to His Grace Sunil Mohan Prabhu's home. And we are so deeply grateful for Sunil Mohan Prabhu and Hemangi, his good wife Hemangi Mataji, for taking care of Srila Gurudev so well, so graciously, opening their homes, not only to Gurudev, but for programs, to the disciples, for taking care of Gurudev's health, and for being close friends and associates that Gurudev looks forward to. So with that, I'd like to invite His Grace Sunil Mohan Prabhu to come forward to share. We're hoping that you would share some nectar with us this morning at Sri Vyasa Puja. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, everybody. I don't know why I always have to speak after Smita Prabhu. It's a hard act to follow. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutle Srimati Indradyumna Swami iti namane. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutle Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami iti namane. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Prasharine Nirvishesha Sunive Vasata Desrarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, everybody. My obeisances, Maharaj. My obeisances to all the Vaishnavas here today. Thank you very much. I feel very honored and humbled to be asked to speak today. Indradyumna Swami is somebody special to me, and I've written something on Vyasa Puja in the form of an offering, which I will read to you now. Thanks, man. Dearest Gurudev, you were involved in the South African Yatra for many years before I arrived in ISKCON. But I clearly recall that you were the very first sannyasi that I met. This occurred, strangely enough, in a hospital. Never anticipating that in years to come we would spend a considerable amount of time together in hospitals. This happened probably around, I think it was 1994, when Surya Narayan Prabhu, if you recall him, who I had recently met at that time, asked me to accompany him to St. Augustine's Hospital to visit a Swami. The Swami, of course, was you, recovering from an unfortunate encounter with one of our taxis in Prince Edward Street. You received me warmly, despite the difficult circumstances in which you found yourself. I was deeply touched at that time by the care, affection, and genuine concern shown by all devotees around Gurudev. Such selfless concern for another person was something unfamiliar to me in the material world in which I was immersed. It was actually at that moment that I decided I needed to learn more about this movement. The rest, of course, is history. One of the most outstanding and enduring character traits that you possess is your instinctive ability to connect with people and help them understand your purpose and your message. You have a remarkable capacity to engage others and inspire them to hear about Krishna consciousness. I believe this is one of the foremost reasons for the extraordinary success you have enjoyed in your preaching endeavors throughout the world, purely a gift bestowed by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. Whether dealing with kings, politicians, businessmen, children, disciples, or ordinary members of the public, you possess a unique aura that immediately commands respect and their attention. Your relationships with influential leaders have often made ISKCON's preaching efforts significantly easier, especially here in South Africa. During the height of apartheid, you were able to coerce the Durban municipality to permit the first Rath Yatra festival, an event that has grown into one of the most significant spiritual festivals in our country. I personally witnessed your interactions with these businessmen that we speak about, ministers, the leaders, when you invited me to accompany you on various meetings. You would politely decline the food and drinks that were offered to you, yet somehow never lose the attention or the admiration. Case in point was the establishment of the 2013 multicultural event held at our Durban beachfront. His Majesty, King Goodwill Zwelithini, King of the Zulu nation at that time, developed a particular affection and respect for you. I recall that on one occasion, when you were hospitalized, he heard of your condition down the grapevine and made a special effort to visit you personally. Few can claim such attention from a monarch. Subsequently, he invited you to visit his royal household, a testament to the regard in which he held you. And more recently, you have had audience with the King and Queen of Rajasthan as well. Over the years, you have nurtured and supported innumerable people. Sorry about that. Never stops ringing. Over the years, you have nurtured and supported innumerable people, both devotees and non-devotees alike, through your compassion, warmth, and generosity. This is especially evident on your Polish tours, which have now continued for approximately 40 years. These tours represent one of the most remarkable preaching achievements in modern religious history. To sustain and expand such an endeavor in both Eastern and Western Europe, often amidst challenging, often hostile social and cultural conditions, is truly extraordinary. Fortunately, much of this has been documented in your inspiring Diary of a Traveling Monk. Despite advancing age and several serious life-threatening illnesses, you continue to move forward with ever-increasing enthusiasm. Each year seems to bring greater success than the last. You possess extraordinary vision and determination as one of Mahaprabhu's foremost generals in the Sankirtan army, tirelessly traversing the globe in the service of Srila Prabhupada's mission. You have continuously challenged conventional boundaries and developed innovative ways of presenting Krishna consciousness to contemporary audiences. During the COVID pandemic, you adapted your preaching brilliantly to embrace online platforms. This gave rise to your YouTube presentations and series such as Assimilation of Ecstatic Love, which have become a profound source of inspiration for devotees and disciples around the world. You have also gone to great lengths to research and present the intimate pastimes of Sri Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan with remarkable depth, sensitivity, and scholarship, enabling countless devotees to deepen their appreciation for the spiritual world, often unearthing pastimes that were previously unknown. On a personal level, I feel immense gratitude for the close relationship and friendship we have enjoyed. Often I feel entirely undeserving of such a close relationship. I am flattered by you always insisting on running by me any matters relating to your health, and I sincerely hope that I may continue to assist in this service without failure in the future. Your spiritual guidance and mentorship have profoundly influenced both myself and my family over the many years that we've had the privilege of hosting you at our home. Although your visits to South Africa now are less frequent, the memories of those visits remain among our most treasured gifts. Your special dietary requirements often presented a challenge to us, but I fondly remember those occasions when after everybody had gone home or retired for the evening, we would make a slight deviation and quietly enjoy some ice cream or toasted cheese sandwiches together. Hemangi obviously doesn't know about these things. We should go into the little man cave. These were simple moments, but remain precious memories. My fervent prayer is that the inspiration you have given us translates into genuine spiritual growth for our entire family. One quality that has always impressed me is your gratitude towards everybody around you. Your generosity to our domestic workers and support staff is a wonderful example. You consistently acknowledge their efforts and often surprise them with outlandish gifts like money or jewelry, or acts of kindness that leave them deeply touched and grateful. You have even given some of them spiritual names that have stuck. Please continue to inspire us to always remember Krishna and remain committed to devotional services throughout our lives. Gurudev, whatever little service I've been able to perform for you has only been possible through your mercy. Please forgive me for any offenses that I may have committed, knowingly or unknowingly, as they have certainly been done inadvertently. Most of all, please help me remain enthusiastic and humble in your service, and please allow me to remain your servant life after life, always under the shelter of our great Vaishnavas and under the shelter of ISKCON. Thank you for your compassion, your friendship, your guidance, and your extraordinary example of dedication to Srila Prabhupada's mission. Your insignificant servant, Sunil Mohan Das. His Holiness Indradyumna Swami Maharaj ki, His Holiness Bhakti Chaitanya Swami Maharaj ki, Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki, Jai.
Thank you so much, His Holiness, His Grace Sunil Mohan Prabhu. And now you've let out the secret that Hemangi is going to ask you later. She put so much of effort for the diet, and then you just let it go thereafter. Thank you for such care, Sunil Mohan Prabhu and Hemangi Devi, for taking such good care, personal care of Srila Gurudev. We'd now like to welcome and also invite His Grace Ramanuja Acharya Prabhu. Thank you for being with us this morning, and we'd now like to, if you are more comfortable, we could arrange for the mic to come to you, or you could come here to offer some. Yeah, okay. Please, thank you so much. Let's invite Ramanuja Acharya Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Everyone say, Hare Krishna! Hare Krishna! Krishna Krishna! Hare Hare! Hare Rama! Hare Rama! Rama Rama! Hare Hare! Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Indradyumna Swami Niti Namine. I offer my respectful obeisances unto His Holiness Indradyumna Maharaj, who is very dear to Krishna on this earth, having taken shelter of his lotus feet. So, Indradyumna Swami is one of our very powerful leaders in ISKCON and has done much powerful preaching throughout the world, even South Africa. So I grew up in a generation in America during the Vietnam War. And if you read the Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita, which I highly recommend, you'll find many of the young men especially were in anxiety about being drafted into the army and sent to Vietnam. And many of them didn't come back. And on the other hand, Indradyumna Swami was more of a, he was more of a leader, and he joined the U.S. Marines, which is kind of an elite military unit in the United States. So I asked Maharaj once, I said, Maharaj, did you go to Vietnam? And he said, no, but the rest of my platoon went, and not one of them came back. So I'm glad he didn't go. I think a platoon's about 20, 30 soldiers. It's a group. So it was very dangerous. And Krishna saved him, just like Krishna saved Prahlad Maharaj. And sometimes Prabhupada would say, oh, Krishna knew you were a devotee, so he saved you. So I appreciate Indradyumna Swami's leadership and charisma and powerful example as a sannyasi. And it's very inspirational, and we're very fortunate that he's given some of his attention to us here in South Africa. And he's a great inspiration for us all. His Holiness Indradyumna Swami Maharaj Ki.
His Grace Ramanuja Acharya Prabhu Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Thank you so much, Ramanuja Prabhu, for sharing with us this morning. I'd now like to invite Vijay Gauranga to read a message on behalf of our temple president, Devadeva Prabhu, who's unable to be here with us this morning but has sent a message. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. My dearest Indradyumna Swami Maharaj, please accept my obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. On this most auspicious occasion of your Vyasa Puja, I offer my heartfelt prayers and gratitude to you for your continued support and growth of the Sri Sri Radharana temple community. Whatever words I write are only a small attempt to express the deep appreciation and affection our temple community feels for you. Preme Mata Nityananda Kripa Avatar, Uttama Adama Kichuna Kare Vichar. Because he is intoxicated by ecstatic love and is an incarnation of mercy, he does not distinguish between the good and the bad. Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila, chapter 5, verse 208. Maharaj, what has always touched me the most about you is the way you freely approach people to give them Krishna consciousness in a very creative ways despite the external qualifications. Like Lord Nityananda, you look beyond externals and recognize the soul's need for connecting back to the Lord. Where others may see disqualification, it's clear that you see potential. Where others pass by, you extend mercy. In this way, your vision is not only broad, but deeply compassionate. So many who may otherwise have remained distant from Krishna consciousness and devotional service have found hope, encouragement and shelter only through your kindness unto them. Your pioneering service in coming to South Africa and establishing the first Rath Yatra remains a lasting impression of your spiritual vision and determination. Through your dedication, initially thousands were given the opportunity to receive the darshan of Lord Jagannath, hear the holy name and come in touch with devotional service. As a result, probably millions have heard the holy names 38 years later by your vision and brainchild. What leaves the deepest impression, however, is your personal kindness. Again and again, I have seen how you give time and encouragement to those whom others might overlook. Through a few sweet words, a book, prashadam, or simple attention, you awaken faith in people's hearts. In this way, you teach us that preaching is not only done through grand events, which you certainly master, but also through sincere personal care. As a servant of the Yatra, I can say that your example has deeply shaped our community. Your devotees here aspire to become more courageous, creative, compassionate, and because they have seen those qualities in you. You have taught us that preaching is not merely a duty, but an expression of love. On this sacred day, I simply wish to thank you for your vision, your compassion, your tireless preaching, your wonderful kirtans, and your unwavering dedication to Srila Prabhupada's mission. Please bless us that we may remain small instruments in service and receive even a drop of your mercy, so that we may assist with greater humility, sincerity, and determination. Begging for your mercy, I remain your servant, Deva Deva Das.
Thank you, Vijay Garanga Prabhu, and that was a message from His Grace Deva Deva Das Prabhu, the temple president of the Radha Radhanath temple. We now move on to a few disciples. Breakfast is ready, but we are going to offer some glorification to Srila Gurudev in a trying to befit his glory. So please do be patient with us this morning on this glorification, this morning of a glorious morning here at the Radha Radhanath temple. So just a few disciples will share their offerings. We will go into Guru Puja and Guru Vastakam, and then breakfast will be served. So I would like to invite a very senior disciple, a long-standing disciple of Srila Gurudev, that is Champakalata Devi Dasi.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So, having just heard Swarup Damodar Prabhu speak, you would note that much of what I'm going to say is echoes and is a summary of what he largely said as well. So please bear with me, but this is my personal offering to Srila Gurudev. My dear Srila Gurudev, please accept my humble obeisances at the dust of your lotus feet. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to your divine grace. On this most sacred occasion of your Vyasa Puja, I offer my heartfelt gratitude to you for your causeless mercy, guidance, and extraordinary example over so many decades. It is impossible to properly express the debt of gratitude I feel for having received your shelter and association in this lifetime. By Lord Krishna's arrangement, I had the great fortune to, alongside my mother, become your duly initiated disciple in November 1992, a day before I wrote my final exam to conclude my law degree. Looking back now, I can see how fortunate we were during those formative years of Krishna consciousness to receive your personal guidance, encouragement, and inspiration. Your visits were never ordinary. Whenever you came, you brought with you great enthusiasm for devotional service, deep attachment to Srila Prabhupada's mission, vibrant kirtans, powerful preaching, and a spirit of joyful dedication that deeply affected all of us. After Mangal Aarti, we would join you in your room downstairs, chanting japa whilst observing you or Sri Prahlad Prabhu perform puja to your deity of Lakshmi Nrsimha. We would chant in sync with you, hearing the holy names uttered from the lips of a pure devotee of the Lord. Srimad Bhagavatam explains, and I quote from Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th Canto, chapter 17, text 27, the spiritual master is to be considered the external manifestation of the Supreme Lord because he gives enlightenment for devotional service. Over the years, I have repeatedly reflected on the statement and have seen its truth manifested through your life. Through your preaching, sacrifice, and personal example, you have dedicated your entire life to bringing conditioned souls closer to Krishna and to Srila Prabhupada. One of the qualities that has always amazed and inspired me is your tireless commitment to preaching, despite the many decades you have already spent traveling and serving throughout the world. Even now, after such a lifetime of sacrifice, you continue to travel extensively, constantly encouraging devotees, inspiring congregations, and reaching out to newcomers with the same enthusiasm and determination that characterized your preaching from the very beginning. Your example teaches us that devotional service is not dependent on comfort or convenience, but on compassion and surrender. I especially remember how much you encouraged the Sankirtan devotees in those early years. You have always had a special appreciation for book and prasad distribution, Harinam, festivals, and every sincere effort to reach new people with Krishna consciousness. I remember in my youth hearing with amazement, just like Smita Krishna Prabhu has said as well, hearing with amazement of your travels to the Amazon jungle, the Kali Gandaki River, the then Soviet Union, the Polish Woodstock Festival, and a host of other new frontiers. I remember you made preaching feel exciting and meaningful. You taught us not to become small-minded or fearful in our service, but to think boldly for Srila Prabhupada. As a result of this, not only were you the chief organizer of the first Rath Yatra festival on Durban's beachfront, but you also spearheaded the festival for the children of the Rainbow Nation, a day I will never forget, as over 50,000 school children packed the King's Park Stadium. I had the good fortune during those times when you were deeply involved in these festivals to serve as your secretary. I have said this before and will say it again. Serving you during my university holidays, which coincided with your visits to Durban, remain the best days of my life. Your visits to my dad's photographic studio, driving by yourself to there, and the great joy that we felt to prepare a spread for your lunch visits to my parents' homes brought immense joy to ourselves. Decades later, you still call us up whenever you visit Durban to favor us with a home visit. Every year when it is time for Rath Yatra, I can't help but fondly reminisce about the early Rath Yatra festivals on Durban's beachfront. These became a reality because of your vision, determination, and enthusiasm. At that time, organizing such a festival seemed overwhelming to many of us, but you inspired the devotees to think big for Lord Jagannath and for the mission of Lord Chaitanya. You understood that these festivals had the power to attract countless newcomers and give them spiritual impressions that could change their lives forever. The spirit of expansive preaching has always defined your service. You never thought merely in terms of maintaining what already existed. You always wanted to expand Srila Prabhupada's movement and create opportunities for new people to receive mercy. Whether through Rath Yatras, Harinam, book distribution, festivals, or your endless travels around the world, your focus has consistently been on reaching people who may otherwise never come into contact with devotional service, and now you have seized the opportunity to do this with Westerners who come to Rishikesh as seekers of the divine. I also deeply appreciate the way you have always made devotional service feel joyful and alive. Through your experiences, realizations, and adventures in preaching, you taught us that Krishna consciousness is not dry or theoretical, but a dynamic life of dependence on Krishna's mercy. Your example has instilled faith in me that by sincerely serving Guru and Krishna, seemingly impossible things can become possible. Gurudev, although I have many shortcomings and I feel inept in serving your mission, I remain eternally grateful for your patience, kindness, and shelter. Whatever little faith or understanding I may possess is only through your mercy and through the connection you have given me to your illustrious spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada. On this auspicious occasion of Sri Vyasa Puja, I pray that I may always remember your example of enthusiastic preaching, courage, and unwavering dedication to spreading Lord Chaitanya's movement. Please bless me that I may be able to assist in your mission and remain forever fixed in devotional service. Thank you, Srila Gurudev, for carrying Srila Prabhupada's compassion throughout the world and for allowing me to be part of that mission. Your aspiring servant, Champakalata Dasi. Srila Gurudev Ki Jai.
Thank you, Champakalata. I'd now like to invite Her Grace Ranga Devi, who, as we've heard from Smita Krishna Prabhu as well, just quietly remains in the background in devotional service here at the temple, and very nicely takes care of Srila Gurudev when he is here as well. Also one of the early disciples of Srila Gurudev here in Durban, in South Africa. Ranga Devi, thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Srimati Indradyumna Swami Tinamne. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Tinamne. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shanyavari Paschataya Deshatarine. My dearest Srila Gurudev, please accept my humble obeisances, the dust of your lotus feet. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, and all glories to you, my glorious spiritual master, on this auspicious occasion of your Vyasa Puja. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, who sent you as a savior in this age. All glories unto your divine appearance in this world of birth and death. Prostrate at your lotus feet, I offer my heartfelt prayer. O Master of Sankirtan, O Ocean of Compassion, O my glorious Master, you have come to this world in the dust of Kali Yuga, thereby blessing all with your sacred footprints, so that we, the lame and blind, might learn to surrender. When you chant the holy names, it echoes throughout the three worlds and beyond, convinced without a doubt that Nam is Krishna himself. And Krishna runs to the tongues that call up upon his holy names. Your faith, conviction, and dedication is what attracts me. Through the sound of your voice and your words, O Gaudiya Acharya, our Shastra come to life. Stimulation for ecstatic love is not a title. It is what you perform at every moment through your actions, similar to the residents of Vrindavan. Until Srila Gurudev, you paint Shishi Radhasham before our minds, until the canvas of consciousness drips with kumkum, the red lac. By your words, Vrindavan descends to our consciousness, and suddenly our imprisoned hearts becomes a kunj. You have taught that prema is not sentiment, but the ultimate reality, that the holy names are not rituals, that they are the Supreme Person embracing his devotees. You have transformed the fortress of illusion into the spiritual dimension, with nothing but transcendental sound vibration. On this day of your appearance, I beg one benediction. Let me remain a particle of dust in your Sankirtan party. Your aspiring servant, Rangadevi Dasi, Hare Krishna. Shri Gurudev ki jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you so much, Rangadevi. I'd now like to invite Vashana Rani to offer an offering to Srila Gurudev this morning.
Dear Srila Gurudev, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. It is a great honor for me and blessing to offer a few words on your Vyasa Puja day. One of my earliest memories connected to you is actually a memory that was first shared with me by my parents. My name-giving ceremony took place right here in this beautiful temple room. I was blessed to receive my name from you. Not only did you give me my name, but even more special, you announced it to the devotees present. Naturally, I do not have any memory of that moment. I look back at the photos and see this baby dressed in a traditional white christening gown, and that you graciously carried me in your arms. Although I was too young to remember that moment myself, it has become one of the most treasured moments in my life and a reminder of your kindness and affection. That story is the story of connection and gratitude, moments that I will always look back to. My mom often shares stories of her childhood, growing up in your association, Srila Gurudev, when you were temple president here. She was lucky enough to have so much of your time and association. Growing up, now we look forward and treasure glimpses of your association whenever we do have the opportunity. Those final beautiful kirtans at Rath Yatra that get us all dancing, or the lunches at home and personal association, has deep meaning and a lasting impact. Thank you, Srila Gurudev, for your example and dedication and courage in your unwavering service to Srila Prabhupada's mission. Through your travels, preaching, and example, you have not only inspired me, but inspired thousands of people around the world. On this special day, I offer my gratitude to you and pray that I always remember your example and strive to become a person that can make you proud. Your servant, Vashana Rani.
Thank you so much, Vashana Rani, and I think many of us remember your name giving here with your white christening gown in this temple room. I'd now like to invite Rasikeli Priya Devidasi to share her offering.
Dear Srila Gurudev, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to your divine grace on this auspicious occasion of your Vyasa Puja ceremony. Srila Gurudev, since I was born on 3rd December 1999, we have had a long-standing relationship. You whispered the Maha Mantra in my ear the day I was born in hospital. You visited me when I was inside the incubator in the intensive care unit and came to my home and held me in your arms after I was discharged from hospital. I love you with all my heart, Srila Gurudev. In the Bhagavad Gita, verse 4.34, it is said, just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized souls can impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth. You have seen the truth, Srila Gurudev. You travel the world preaching the core tenets of Krishna consciousness and help wayward souls find their way back home, back to Godhead. You care so much about the devotees and are a stalwart preacher. You preached extensively in Russia and launched the Festival of India, which takes place every year along the Baltic Sea coast and attracts thousands of people. You are the expert boatsman guiding my boat, this material body of mine, to ply across the ocean of repeated death and suffering, so that I may one day obtain the mercy of Krishna. I do not know where I would be in life if you had not kindly allowed me to take shelter of your lotus feet. It has been just over 2 years since I have received my Harinam initiation from you, Srila Gurudev. And yet it feels like I accepted you as my spiritual master since the day I was born. Tears welled in my eyes when you told me that you want to give me initiation 2 years ago. I cannot believe that someone as fallen as me has the guidance of a magnanimous spiritual master such as yourself. We may not talk every single day, but your teachings are implemented in my daily life. I chant my rounds of japa daily, pray to Krishna every day, and have distributed the knowledge of Krishna consciousness to others. An elderly woman who was my teacher in primary school 20 years ago has accepted the teachings of Krishna consciousness. She has attended several Sunday programs with me at the Sri Sri Radharadhanath temple. She chants on the japa beads that I have given her. She abandoned Christianity 22 years ago. She does not believe in the segregation of people and strongly believes that we are all equal. The philosophy of Krishna consciousness became so appealing to her, as well as the prasadam. She has told me that when she moves to Cape Town, she will be attending the programs at the temple there as well. She has met His Holiness Jayadvaita Swami Maharaj last year in September when he came to South Africa. I had invited her to come with me, and she eagerly accepted my invitation. She was blessed with a signed copy of the Bhagavad Gita from him. I have told her that when you come to Durban, I would very much like it if she could meet you. I have distributed several copies of the Higher Taste to people, and I have been told that they have been utilizing the recipes to prepare tasty vegetarian dishes. It has been incredible to witness your mercy in my preaching endeavors. I feel that you have empowered me in my preaching endeavors, Srila Gurudev. You are guiding me from afar, wherever you might be in the world. I feel your presence in my daily life. I love you so much, Srila Gurudev. I cannot put into words how much you mean to me. My little heart overflows with gratitude towards you. Your insignificant servant, Rasakeli Priyadasi.
Thank you so much, Rasakeli Priya, for your offering to Srila Gurudev. It will now be followed by Rajasundari, who will share some words this morning.
Dear Srila Gurudev, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to your divine grace. On this auspicious occasion of your Vyasa puja, I would like to offer my humble gratitude and appreciation. In more recent years, I have come to realize that many of the opportunities and blessings in my life has come through the service and mercy of Srila Prabhupada and the devotees, and spiritual teachers like yourself, who dedicate their lives to sharing Krishna consciousness with others. One of the qualities I admire most about you is your determination in service. Whether traveling to distant places, leading festivals, inspiring devotees, or bringing the holy names to people who may have never encountered Krishna consciousness otherwise, you have shown what it means to dedicate one's life to a higher purpose. As a young person beginning my journey into university studies and future service, I often reflect on the importance of living a meaningful life. The world encourages us to seek success, recognition, and achievement. But your example reminds us that true success lies in the service, humility, and compassion, and of course, devotion to Sri Krishna. I pray that I will always remember that. I recently had the opportunity to participate as a panelist on the online youth panel discussion for the CSW 70 at the United Nations. I got to meet so many highly skilled and talented youth in Krishna consciousness, who shared so many wonderful projects in kirtan and other services and activities that are taking place around the world. I paused for a moment and reflected on how dynamic and forward-thinking you are, Srila Gurudev. You have always had the affinity to engage with youth, whether it was through kirtan or discussion. You would spend time engaging on topics at a level that was interesting for our age. I recall with fondness that you would come home and go across the room asking each one of us, myself, my cousins and I, how each of us were doing. Your care and personal concern is deeply moving, and I am so appreciative of that. Thank you, Srila Gurudev, for your sacrifices, your example, and your encouragement, and your unwavering dedication to Srila Prabhupada's mission. Your life continues to inspire devotees around the world, and I feel fortunate to have grown up hearing your lectures, following your travels, and sharing special moments with you. As I now look back and at the same time look forward at the road ahead, so many things remain uncertain. However, the certainty is what you have taught me throughout my life, and that is to remain steadfast in devotional service. When I have spoken to you earlier this year to share with you my chosen career path and seek your blessings, you reminded me that all knowledge comes from Krishna, and therefore all goes back to Krishna's service. On this most auspicious occasion of Sri Vyasa Puja, I pray for your continued guidance and blessings, and being in your association always. Your service, Rajasundari.
Thank you so much, Rajasundari. We now would like to invite Dulali Radha to share her offering to Srila Gurudev this morning. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Indradyumna Swami, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. I know that we've gone way over time, and I don't want to take too much of your time, but I truly believe that the more time spent on glorifying the spiritual master, the better for everyone. So I will start with a little bit of what I've written as my Vyasa Puja offering to Gurudev. Dear Gurudev, please accept my most humble obeisances at the dust of your sweet pink lotus feet. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to you. Happy Vyasa Puja. On this day, I find myself at a loss of words when it comes to your character and the gratitude that my family and I have for you. There are simply no words in Elvish, Entish, or the tongues of men that can describe your majesty. But perhaps there are in the eternal, universal language, Sanskrit, the language of God, Krishna. Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu, Adama Janara Bandhu. Our spiritual master is the ocean of mercy, the friend of the poor, and the Lord and Master of the devotees. I find that these songs and poems from our Sampradaya encapsulate your glories perfectly. Dear Gurudev, your mercy is beyond measure. Even to compare it to an ocean would be to belittle it. I cannot express my gratitude to you enough for all the love and mercy that you have given me. In fact, I think that if I were to write a Vyasa Puja offering for every year for the rest of this Kali Yuga, it would still not encapsulate the gratitude that I have and the gratitude that I should have for Srila Gurudev. Dear Gurudev, there is so much about you that is glorious. You possess a multitude of qualities that are exemplary in a person. Your smile is like a floodlight that absorbs everyone and everything around it. Your speech is most wonderful. You deliver Shastra with intelligence and love. When you speak, it reminds me of the descriptions of Lord Rama's speech. Every word with sweetness and clarity as you relish the pastimes of the Lord. Your person is kind and gentle, staunch and righteous, thoughtful and intelligent, sweet and friendly. Such a blend attracts all people of all characters. Dear Gurudev, I admire your inclusivity and your ability to make and keep long-lasting relationships and friendships with all kinds of people. Such genuineness is lacking in today's society. Your heart is extremely big. It reminds me of Lord Nrsimhadev. He had the biggest heart to appear in this material world just for little Prahlad. Just like that, you, Srila Gurudev, are so kind, so loving, and so merciful that you open up your arms to all kinds of people. I remember as a kid, I would always look forward to when you would come to Durban. I would follow you in every program, waiting for when you would arrive at the venue so that you could take me in your arms and I could get to hug you. It was the best thing ever. Reflecting on what His Grace Swarab Damodar Prabhu had mentioned, and this stuck with me because this is one of the things I find most amazing about Srila Prabhupada. Yes, he was very learned. Yes, Gurudev is very learned. Gurudev is very powerful. His leadership ability is amazing. His intelligence is amazing. But to me, the thing that I feel impacts people the most is his compassion and love that he shows to every single person he meets. He impacts all kinds of people on every single continent. This we can see. We've had so many devotees come and share their accounts and their experiences. And this is something that goes on all over the world during this period of Srila Gurudev's Vyasa Puja. Thousands of people come together to express their gratitude and to glorify how wonderful of a person Srila Gurudev is. I always remember something His Holiness Parthasarati Das Goswami once said in his Tuesday Namahatas. He had said, he was giving an account of how one of his godbrothers had actually come to Krishna consciousness. And it was not because of the kirtan or because of the philosophy or because of any of that. This person knew nothing of Krishna at the time. But it was the fact that elderly Srila Prabhupada cooked with his own hand, gave his own time and energy to feed a complete stranger, inviting him into his home with so much of love. That is what attracted him to Krishna consciousness. Just like that, Srila Gurudev practices and lives his life in the same way. Swarab Prabhu had mentioned the whole thing with soft toys and kids. Gurudev he actually bought multiple soft toys for me. And he had also gifted my brother on my initiation day this wonderful soft toy. It's a lion teddy bear. And he had initiated the teddy bear, naming him Nrsimha. So he also told Kanurama that from now on, from that point onwards, whenever he goes to sleep, he will never have a nightmare as long as he sleeps with Nrsimha. And now Kanuram refuses to sleep without his Nrsimhadev teddy bear that Gurudev gave him. I think it was two years ago when Gurudev had come. He had come to do a program at Sri Sri Radharadhanath, and Kanurama and I were walking him to his car. At this point, we all know Gurudev is very playful. So Gurudev was saying, "Oh, Kanu, I have initiated your sister. I'm going to initiate you too." And Kanuram, being very stubborn at a young age, said, "No, I want to be initiated by His Holiness Giriraj Swami. And Gurudev is pestering. He is continuously saying, no, let me initiate you. I will initiate you. And Kanuram is staying firm. He's saying, no, no, no. I will be initiated by His Holiness Giriraj Swami. And Gurudev eventually gave up and he said, that is okay. If you wish to take Diksha from another Guru, that's fine. You and I, we will just be best friends. Because the relationship between a friend is so much sweeter than that of Guru and disciple, which is in awe and reverence. This shows you just how loving Gurudev is. I just wanted to give that input of mine, and hopefully we can all walk away from here just thinking about the wonderful qualities that Gurudev has, and maybe we can try to muster up a fraction of the gratitude that we should actually have for Srila Gurudev and Srila Prabhupada. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Srila Gurudev ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.
Thank you so much, Dilali Radha, for sharing some of your fond childhood memories with us, Srila Gurudev. We will now move on to the Guru Puja ceremony for Srila Gurudev. We are mindful of time. We were meant to go into a Guru Vastakam prayer, but we will move forward to the Guru Puja ceremony where we will be able to, but first perhaps we could offer the cake to Srila Gurudev. There is the Boga offerings that have taken place in Srila Prabhupada's room at the bottom. Thank you all for bringing offerings, whoever has brought this morning Boga offerings. That has taken place in Srila Prabhupada's room a little earlier, a few minutes ago. We will go into Guru Puja now, and a heartfelt thank you to you all for being present with us this morning. A special thank you to His Holiness Bhakti Chaitanya Swami, His Grace Ramanuja Acharya Prabhu, all the other senior devotees who have spoken and shared this morning, spent their time, and for all of you for being present to celebrate this auspicious day. We cannot honor the Guru enough, but this is a mere attempt to do such. So please do stay with us for breakfast after Guru Puja. And I'd now like to invite Dilali Radha to sing. We'll work it out because we're just shifting the program a little bit to accommodate that. Ranga Devi will offer the Aarti ceremony whilst we start with the Guru Puja. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. His Holiness Srila Indradyumna Swami Maharaj ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.
Are you okay?
Good, good.
You're singing?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Shira Gurudev Indradyumna Swami. Hare Krishna. On. Shila Gurudev Indradyumna Swami Maharaj ki jai. ISKCON founder Acharya Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shila Gurudev Vyasa Puja Maha Mahotsava ki jai. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma Bando Moi Savadana Mate Bando Moi Savadana Mate Yahara prasade ba ye bhavatoriya jai Krishna prapti hoya Oite Krishna prapti hoya Oite Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitete Koriya Kya Arana Koriyo Mane Asha Arana Koriyo Mane Asha Shri Guru Charane Rati Eise Uttama Gati Ye prasade pure sarva asha Ye prasade pure sarva asha Chakudana dilo ye janme janme Prabhu se Chakudana dilo ye janme janme Prabhu se Divya Gyan Nirde Prokashito Divya Gyan Nirde Prokashito Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Padama Janara Bandhu Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Padama Janara Bandhu Lokena Lokera Jivana Lokena Lokera Jivana Ha Prabhu Korodoya Deho More Parachaya Ebeya Gushukri Bhuvana Ebeya Gushukri Bhuvana Srila Prabhupada Patita Pavana Ha Prabhu Korodoya Deho More Parachaya Ha Prabhu Korodoya Deho More Parachaya Ebeya Gushukri Bhuvana Duya Padoloilo Sharana Srila Prabhupada Patita Pavana Jaya Prabhupada Priya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Shuru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Indradyumna Swami Jaya Guru Deva Indradyumna Swami Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Indradyumna Swami Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Indradyumna Swami Jaya Guru Deva Indradyumna Swami Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Indradyumna Srila Gurudev Indradyumna Swami Maharaj ki Jai. Srila Indradyumna Swami Vyasa Puja Mahamahotsava ki Jai. ISKCON founder Acharya Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Pramanande Hari Hari Bol. That's it. Carry on.
Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Astotara Sata Shrimad His Holiness Indradyumna Swami Maharaj ki Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Astotara Sata Shrimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Astotara Sata Shrimad Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj ki Ananta Gauri Vaishnavinda ki Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur ki Prem Sakaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Vedagadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shamakun Radhakun Giri Govardhan ki Brindavan Dham ki Mayapur Navadvip Dham ki Nilachal Jagannath Puri Dham ki Ganga Maya Jamana Maya ki Tulsi Devi Bhakti Devi ki The Lordship Shri Shri Radha Radhanath ki The Lordship Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani ki The Lordship Shri Shri Nitai Gaura Hari ki Harinam Sankirtan ki Srila Indradyumna Swami Maharaj Shri Vyasa Puja Maha Mahotsav ki Srila Indradyumna Swami Maharaj ki Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. So, Krishangi? Swarup Prabhu?
Her Grace Mother Radha Radhanath Dasi will be cutting the official Vyasa Puja cake. Haribol! As Swarup Damodar Prabhu aptly mentioned a few minutes ago, it's befitting because Mother Radhanath feeds Srila Gurudev for decades now. So thank you so much for accepting this service, Mother Radhanath, and please do offer the cake to Srila Gurudev as well. Thank you.
Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, oh Rama, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare, oh Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram oh Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram oh Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Hare Rama. Oh, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Indradyumna Swami, Jaya Indradyumna Swami, Jaya Indradyumna Swami, Jaya Indradyumna Swami. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Gurudev. Nitai Gaura Haribol, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribol.